Yes, that was morning shift on 3XY at 5 minutes past 9 each day. Hello, Mother, how are we? All right? I think we need more bus stops. I think we need more bus stations for Melbourne. And that didn't work. So the next week, Mother, get that washing out his Led Zeppelin. and you'll live through all those changes, Andrew McLaren, as well.
I have, Bruce. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Andrew.
Yes, I have. I've seen it all. I remember when 3AW tried to be funky at one particular stage too, musically. Of an evening, I was asked to play sort of funky music before they led into Nightline with the Reverend Alex. It didn't work either.
It didn't work, but you convinced yourself.
Oh, yes.
That playing the Dead Kennedys is really, nobody else can do it at this time of night.
And of course, I was the last person to play an easy music track on Beautiful Music 3AK, which had that wonderful history of being successful with beautiful music and easy music.
It was the most.
And I was, I was instructed that will be the last one. And after that, I played Memories Are Made of This. I always remember it was by Ray Conniff Singers.
Yes.
And from then it was straight into something, Who's Zoom and Who, or someone by some funky R&B band, an album track.
Yes.
And of course, that was pretty much the end of 3AK.
And they left the old walking along St Kilda Beach. There's a seagull that's dropped something. It looks like it's a radio. And from it, Bill Howie.
I remember those ads. And Ballad for Adeline was used by Richard Clayderman in the background.
Yes. Richard Clayderman, he had shares in AK.
Still owned it every second.
Oh,
or Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66 track.
Yes.
There's
a lot of that at XY too. Here's Chris Montez.
I see you.
Good fun. No, it was all good fun.
Now, you as a kid, you had the independence of having your pocket money. I'm going into Brashes, I'm going into Coles with Mum, I'm going to buy the first record. What was that?
Well, I hate to say this, and I hope Billy Pinnell's not listening, because his first record was the very credible, very butch Lucille by Little Richard.
Yes.
Mine was Why Baby Why by Pat Boone.
Oh, lovely song though.
Well, I know, but
I used to dance to that in his mum's dress. It was a lovely song.
What about me? Knees up, pat him on the po-po.
Was that yours?
Yes, Guy Mitchell.
Oh, no. And then my second record, I got a bit tougher. I got Hernando's Hideaway by Johnny Ray.
Yes.
I remember that was bought for me for my birthday. But you didn't buy albums, right? People talk about albums at a certain age, because albums were for adults and rich. I know, they were 52 and 60.
They were 50. What's the price now?
Yeah. £2.12 and 6. I couldn't afford an album. First album I ever bought would have been not until the into the 60s.
Well, that would have been the soundtrack of Oklahoma, darling.
I just went one of the bargain bins at Franklin's or Batman's.
Remember Batman's downstairs in Elizabeth?
Everything was always in yellow and red.
Yes, it was.
Good advertising.
So was you 78 or 45?
I know, the 45 of Why Baby Why, Pat Boone, which I can remember Billy Pinnell's withering glance when I told him one time when he'd been out there in Collingwood buying Lucille by Little Richard and Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps.
Let's eavesdrop. Yes, we're in St Kilda. It's a hot Saturday afternoon. There's a boy there in stovepipe pants and luminous socks. Look at him. He's got a big ducktail.
Ducktail?
A ducktail. Over one eye. And he's got an arrow stone, 3 and 1 in the corner. They must be doing all right. Listen to what he's listening to.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
And poor little Andrew was there all alone and friendless because all his mates had just taken off to Billy Pinnell's house.
Yes, to go down and hear
some real music, some man's music.
Yes. I met Pat Boone in Hollywood.
You didn't?
Yes, in the 75th birthday. Darren James and I went over to do breakfast, and we met Pat Boone. He came in with a glass of milk.
He did it?
Yes, he did. And his registration on the car was milk. He was a very highly, cherished person in the community, very good living fellow.
That's right, very Christian.
Very Christian. And he said, my pappy here, there's a photo of him, Daniel Boone. He invented the hunting knife. Rootin' and tootin' and shootin'. There's Daniel Boone. Well, I got to be off now. I'm playing tennis with Margot and all the girls, his daughters. They all played tennis together.
Isn't that lovely?
He was the Rolls Royce and off he went. And I thought, I've always impressed on his clean way of living.
Yes, very, very much so. That was always his thing, wasn't it? The white buck shoes and, and the songs that didn't upset the older folk.
That's right, that's true.
Was it, though, just an actor? Could there have been a side to him that just wasn't ever spoken about?
Dark side of
Did he go off and strangle animals or something?
No, he was not. He did that. Pull chicken feathers out on stage. No, he didn't.
Exactly.
Well, have you talked about
the head off a bat?
Although he did have a sister, Bab. Right, I'll let that go through.
All right. Oh, my goodness.
Go on.
May I just ask, what was your first album that you ever bought, or record?
Oh, now, I mentioned mine earlier this evening.
I wasn't listening.
No, we discussed it at that. But Shakin' Stevens, This Old House.
Really?
I bought a cassette, yes.
A cassette?
A cassette, yes.
How quaint these days.
Well, that's because Mum wouldn't let me use the Onkyo turntable that she had set up so beautifully in the lounge room. So I was given one of those, those flat cassette players that have the speaker in the top half, then the cassette, and then all the play buttons and stuff at the end.
I remember them.
She bought me, myself and my sister, one of those, which we would share. And so we were allowed to use cassettes, but not the record player.
Was it just a single cassette, or was it the album?
No, it was the album, the Shakin' Stevens album.
It had all these. Well, actually, you were a bit retro before you knew, because most of the album would have been songs that came out years before he actually recorded them.
I had no idea that covers even existed, and I had no idea that This Old House was done by Rosemary Clooney and all of those things. Yes, it was all new and hip and happening for me. Shakin' Stevens. I said to Bruce, I thought I'd discovered the best thing ever until the neighbour next door told me about Elvis and how Shakin' Stevens was sort of a weak imitation of him.
That's right. He's a British guy, wasn't he, Shakin'?
I wouldn't have a clue.
I think he was. Yeah. It did a good version of with Bonnie Tyler of another oldie, A Rockin' Good Way. That was a great track.
That was on the album. Yeah, great song.
Yeah, it was good.
Rockin' Good Way to Mess Around and Fall in Love.
A song that Brooks Benton and Dinah Washington had.
Was that a cover too?
That was a cover.
I'm heartbroken. I'm going home.
Oh, I don't blame you. Thanks very much indeed.
A pleasure.
It was lovely.
Lovely.
Thanks, Andrew. Reminisce on the records and the covers, the first posters that you had in your bedroom.
Yeah.